911 has seen Eddie and Buck go from potential rivals to best friends, but a particular couch theory implies that they could still be more. Though Buck, Oliver Stark, has been with 911 since the beginning, Eddie, Ryan Guzman, only joined the 118 in Season 2. Initially, Buck greeted him with jealousy and scorn. However, it didn't take long for Eddie to win Buck over and become a welcome part of the 118 family. Now among the main cast of 911 Season 8, Eddie and Buck are best friends that have been there for each other through thick and thin. In a show like 911, the scenarios they have faced together has included tsunamis, being buried alive, and even tornadoes. As a result, there is nobody that Eddie and Buck trust more than each other to have their backs and look after their family members. Buck's coma dream even predicted Eddie's separation from his son Christopher, so in tune have they become. Regardless, Eddie and Buck have never crossed the line into more than friendship. That hasn't stopped fans, however, who continue to believe in their chemistry and subscribe to a certain theory that they are made for each other. Couch theory in 911 explained. Couches have become synonymous with Buck's relationships on 911. Ryan Guzman as Eddie Diaz and Oliver Stark as Buck asleep in 911. The aforementioned 911 theory comes courtesy of Buck's history of couches and how they relate to his past relationships. It all began long after Connie Britton left 911 for new projects, when Buck began dating local television reporter, Taylor Kelly. After some time, they made plans to move in together, which paved the way for Buck and Taylor to replace his couch with her own. Unfortunately, they ultimately split up, leaving Buck without a couch. Over time, however, Buck would go through several more new love interests, and with each new romance, came a new couch. Buck attempted to rectify the trend by buying a chair, emphasizing his desire to be self-reliant and not get too deeply immersed in who he was dating. His parents ultimately stepped in, however. After one of his worst 911 near-death experiences, his parents' purchase served as evidence of how far their own relationship had healed. But their chosen couch turned out to be one that Buck felt was uncomfortable and that he couldn't fall asleep on while his extended family was visiting. That situation came to a head when he visited Eddie in frustration in 911 Season 6, Episode 12, Recovery. As Eddie fetched them beers, Buck fell asleep, highlighting his immediate comfort on Eddie's couch and, potentially, with Eddie himself. That is certainly the way that many 911 fans interpreted the situation. That was especially true when Eddie's son, Christopher, also fell asleep on the couch. Occurring under similar circumstances, in a position fitting right alongside Buck's own, it spoke to the idea that they were a ready-made family waiting to happen, and that Eddie was the one. Why Buck and Eddie are best suited for each other in 911. Certain 911 fans have shipped the pair as far back as Season 2. A blended image of Eddie and Buck on 911. When it comes to Buck and Eddie, there is a lot of overlap in the Venn diagram of their personalities, for better and for worse. Both are strong, loyal, and willing to go above and beyond for those they love and members of the public alike. So true is that fact that they often sacrifice their own happiness for others, which is why Eddie's exit in 911 Season 8 will no doubt be short-lived. They can also be similarly reckless when it comes to their personal safety, whether trying to rescue people while on a call or just in general. That personality overlap only emphasizes why Buck and Eddie would be good together. Nobody would understand their positive and negative traits better than each other. Together they could likely help to negate such behaviors, being unafraid to call them out, as they have already done in the past, and evolve in their own right. As seen in previous 911 episodes, they also bring out each other's fun sides like nobody else has. So, as much as the Buck and Bobby dynamic shouldn't be ignored in 911 Season 8, so too should Buck and Eddie's be further explored. Can 911 actually make Buck and Eddie's romance a reality? Are the 911 writers queerbaiting with Eddie and Buck? Though the 911 couch theory is only rooted in metaphor, it's nonetheless a compelling one. Whether or not the writers intended it this way, however, remains to be seen. It wouldn't be the first time the idea of a Buck and Eddie relationship has crept into the show, however. All the way back in 911 Season 2, Buck and Eddie were caught on a live stream, with those watching saying they should be a couple. Further down the line, Buck and Eddie were mistaken for a couple while out with Christopher. There have also been awkward hugs aplenty. There was also the basketball incident in 911 Season 7, Episode 4, Buck, Bothered, and Bewildered. It inadvertently played like Buck was jealous that somebody was taking Eddie away. Now 911 is exploring Buck's bisexuality. Past events can be recontextualized as him having a crush, unrequited or otherwise. While Eddie insists he's straight, so was Buck until a certain point. As such, it would be easy for 911 writers, if they wished, to make Eddie and Buck a couple that work together akin to TK and Carlos on 911, Lone Star, less the couch metaphor, and more, run the risk of being considered queerbaiting.